Welcome, jewelers. Welcome all to another episode of Thank God It's Today. We're back, baby. My name's Mega, joined by T-Heat, Trade Room, two legends. Boys, it has been an eventful couple days in the crypto gaming ecosystem. DeFi Kingdoms PvPs, rock on, baby. Oh boy, it's been a lot of fun. There have been, I don't even know the exact number, but a good bit of paid tournaments, paying out some big prizes, and a lot of big competition. A lot of fun. We ourselves have been competing a little bit, getting whooped around, quite honestly. We'll talk about it. Trade, what's the overall sentiment, bro? How have you been feeling? Have you been enjoying these fights?
Yeah, no, I've really been enjoying these fights. Like I said during the last stream, it's been 3 years coming. Definitely got in and knew I was gonna get my ass whipped, but thank God that it's Thursday. One more day away from Friday into a March weekend. We see the sentiment in the markets. People are scared. What's happening? Is Bitcoin dumping every time the Trump administration initializes things? But we got a lot to talk about. It was an interesting AMA, and I'm just overall happy to be here on this Thursday.
Yes, sir. Happy to have you as well on another Thursday. It's a beautiful day in the Kingdoms, T-Heat. How have you been feeling? Have you been competing? What's the thoughts right now, bro? We're going to get into a bunch here tonight, but what's the thoughts?
Man, thank God it's today. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to chat with y'all and hopefully a pretty active comment section tonight because I think we got a lot of things to talk about. I have been not as engaged this week with PvP. I haven't been using my influence as much, but will be this weekend. I think I'm going to try to sneak into one of the Revengers tournaments just to lose in that bracket. But yeah, man, I'm cooking up some new things though. I was just telling Trade, I am kind of trying to make some moves. Like we're seeing what's working, what's not working. And just the other day I was trying to make a good priest and got 2 rugs. I came out with a berserker and a scholar. So anyways, but nevertheless, man, let's get into it. We're jumping off the bat with just PvP, right?
We're going to talk about some things. I have some random questions for you. We're going to move into some charts just to give the people a lay of the land here tonight.
Yes,
we
sir.
have some thoughts in terms of PvP. I know T's got some thoughts. I kind of led here about certain things in regards to getting whooped. And, PvP has been so much fun, regardless of my poor win-loss record. But there have been so many good fights, so many crazy strategies, and we're going to get into it here, T-Heat.
So, real quick, though, do this for me if you could. That graphic that, I don't know if you put it together or someone else did, but that's showing the wins. Can we throw that on the
Yes,
screen?
let me get that up. I'm very ill-prepared tonight. As you see,
Right.
I'm late, and it is because of me, I must admit. So
Personal emergencies happen.
yes. So a wild night indeed, but let's get that up for you.
So one thing really, when we're talking about the state of PvP, we're a weekend. Like that's one thing right off the bat we got to remember. It's still very fresh, very new, but we have seen a lot. Like there's a lot that it's kind of been learned. A lot of things that people are picking up on. The speed meta, I would say, is kind of the overwhelming meta of the game, which is not surprising to me. But the other kind of meta to the game is that you're really seeing the top guys win or consistently place high, and it's really a who's who of what DFK, which right off the bat, just let me soapbox and say I think that's fantastic. I love to see what we've seen so far. I think in tournaments you really see that everything matters, that skills matter, or excuse me, not skills but traits. Also skills, what skills you pick and how you build out your heroes, what their stats are, and how you really build out your team matters as well. Having really teams that pair well together makes it a lot easier. And then we also see the skill of the player. It definitely matters. The guys that are winning are definitely the guys that have put in the most thought and effort to building these heroes, to getting this good equipment, which the equipment also matters. I left that out. So we're seeing all these things, and they already have announced some changes, like with the cooldowns, to try to make it where the best equipment isn't always being used and things like that. But the one thing that I think is, even though that I think it's a great thing that we're seeing all of this tournament play out the way it is, it also isn't maybe the most welcoming. And that's kind of my initial feedback after a week.
We must preface, though, here before we get, because I know you're going to continue here, T-Heat. We
Yeah.
do have some free-to-play tournaments coming this weekend. This weekend, correct? I think it's Saturday and Sunday. Why am I in Crystal Vale? I wanted to show you guys something in Crystal Vale, but we'll do it later. All right. Let's go back to the Sundered Isles, and we will show. Oh my God, it's just not letting me. But we're gonna show the free-to-play tournaments that we have coming. So.
Right, which is
we're
great.
gonna dive into some of that stuff too, but continue if I cut you off.
No, so really, and I think an overwhelming thought for me is, just the state of the project as a whole. And we've seen a lot of great development this year with patrols being added now, full-blown tournaments, and the team is continuing to build it and put out great things. So I don't want to sound like I'm negative on that front at all, because I'm very bullish on the sentiment of what they've been building, what they've been putting out. But the sentiment from the community for a long time was that really PvP is what we need to take off. This was it. And granted, it's a week. I'm not saying that I expect in 1 week that all of a sudden we're going to see a flood of new players, but just thinking of what we have seen, and then thinking, if I have never played GFK, would I be trying to compete in these PvP tournaments? And I think the pretty simple answer there is no. It's like, well, is this really going to be the catalyst that we hope it is? And if not, what can be done to make it that catalyst? And I think that there are things that are on the table already that the team could do to make it more welcoming for newbies. But that's just kind of my initial takeaways, is that the gameplay is awesome. They have an amazing game. It's really fun to watch too. And maybe spectating is the way to go. But again, we probably need bigger rewards for that. But anyways, I don't want to get off topic too much. But really, I think the key thing that the team needs to figure out is, what can they do to really onboard players? And I know they've put an emphasis on that, and people put pressure on them, ask a lot of AMA questions around this topic. But I think, making some tweaks to these tournaments, or maybe making additional tournaments, maybe more free tournaments, and I have more ideas there. I don't want to hog all the time, but because I want y'all to kind of jump in here, I'll take a breath.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, to piggyback on that, I am someone who it's not a player like that. I love the watching, right? So to be able to watch the top players go at it is fantastic. I entered because this is my space, this is my ecosystem. Let me get a few bouts and let me see what it feels like. My heart was pumping.
Right.
So entertainment value of watching the top players is definitely there. Now, after that fact, the find your legion, claim your legacy mathematics for me doesn't consist of me doing PvP too often. That math doesn't work out for me, even as a macro person who's playing and planning on being in this ecosystem for the next 10 to 15 years. So if the different mechanisms for entry at the current moment is dope. I see the leveling setup, the level setup, which is cool. But once you brought it up, I was like, oh yeah, it would be cool to just have like some basics, that have basic traits and
Right.
I can farm. And when you talk about what DeFi Kingdoms is gaming DeFi. So the professions, the hunts, all these are farming mechanisms that once you find your legion, you can now claim your legacy, and a legacy takes 10 to 15 years to pan out. So if I knew within a 365-day calendar, out of X amount of like PvP stuff that goes on, I can always just get in on a basic level and farm. I'm okay with that, opposed to even my best level 20s going in, not feeling like I can beat the best players. But that also speaks to the other mechanisms that are set out there throughout the day for you to just go in with the best that you have and try to do what? Farm. And that might not be your farming mechanism. It just might not be. But I see what you're saying about having a baseline where you can just enter in and go for it.
I think one of the toughest things right now, because in terms of sorry, I fucked up my mouse there. In terms of the the variety of tournaments, I think is a big topic currently. Mm-hmm. You know, the biggest problem truly right now is player base, but it's almost a double-edged sword because what would open up, I think, even more players is a variety. You know what I mean? Like we need, for example, the amount of people I saw ready to play free-to-play tournaments, even though they didn't reward XP, was pretty crazy, honestly. Because people kind of just want to play. Like, I said it in general, bro. All the find open bouts have been gone since PvP tournaments. Like, nobody's starting random bouts. There wasn't a ton
behind the scenes. Right.
Yeah, everything's behind the scenes because nobody wants to show anything. I mean, and even like the level ones, I don't even see the level ones because we don't even have level 1 tournaments. That's not a fault to the team because I kind of understand why. It's really simple, weird gameplay at level 1, but it's almost fun. And I wish we had almost a commitment of players already to just jump into everything because we would have those if they thought they would fill. You know, they might just not. They might think if they spread the field too thin, none of them at all are going to fill. But I mean, we've only seen, let's go back to the sheet, we've only seen 2 tournaments not fill.
Right.
And one had 6 out of, you need 8 total. The other one had 1, maybe it was just a bad time.
Well, the other one was a really bad time. It was like 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Eastern.
And we're calling on you Europeans. I think that was the European time zone. Get in there, bro. What are we doing? We filled almost every single NA and Asian. Asia's slightly different than Europe, I think. So, but they're closer on the time zone. But still, fill these bad boys up, bros. If we want more variety, we almost have to show up to these same ones. But we're gonna get into some things. So, we lost trade.
I think I might just turn his camera off. I'm not sure.
I bet.
But anyways, yeah. So I mean, we haven't seen, and to your point, we haven't seen. It's only been a week. We haven't seen that many tournaments yet. We haven't even seen a Weekend Warrior tournament or Revengers yet. So we're still so early. I want to acknowledge that. And then I also want to just real briefly acknowledge, like, I understand that there are plenty of other avenues to play this game that aren't, PvP. There's, questing, there's summoning, there's hunts, and patrols is great too. I think I've talked about it before. I think it could be a great onboarding tool.
A little upgrade today too as well. We'll throw it in there. Level 1s can compete because they won't face the hardest mobs, I think.
Right. So again, that's fantastic for welcoming newbies in because most of them probably are starting at level 1s.
And it's tough. It wasn't ideal before, but go on.
Right. No, thank you. No, appreciate that. Yeah. So they're doing the right moves. Like I don't want to sound negative by any means, but again, the key thing is really PvP could be a major catalyst, but they got to do it right. And so to get into a couple thoughts of what I think they could do, and they already have it built in, a couple things. One, I think the free-to-play is smart. Let me start there because that's kind of the simplest. I think that's smart. I think that they should incentivize it with either give the winner a Revengers token, give them a chest, like a low-level chest or something. People like the idea of guaranteed loot, and they also like free-to-play. Give a daily free-to-play with a guaranteed loot drop to people, and you might see more YGG people come in and play in these. And maybe there is great demand, and maybe you can do 2 a day. I mean, I'm just saying. Right. I think that is a potential recipe for success, but I think it needs to be somewhat incentivized. Give them some XP, like make there be some reason to compete. A prize to first, XP to anyone that competes, free to play. There we go, and you maybe get shells from it too. Boom, there you go.
Yeah,
and I think that would do well for bringing in a lot of newbies. And then the other thing is for the tournaments they're setting up, I think that they should cater, and this is more of a thing not for bringing the newbies, but this is maybe a thing for bringing in more of the existing player base that is seeing all of these guys with these really monstrous heroes and really great strategy just dominate. And again, rightfully so. But if they start doing things like you can't bring any elite or higher traits, or you skill cap heroes, then all of a sudden you've really leveled the playing field for anybody that has a reasonable size, stack of heroes to be able to enter and be competitive. Because you see how much like a Second Life or a Resurrection could potentially, save you in a match. And then obviously if you have a team of all greater stone heroes going against no stone heroes, you're going to lose almost certainly, right? I mean, unless you get real lucky or something. But again, like they could do the stat score, they could do traits, different things that still give you a variety of ways to play, but like just prevent people from using the best heroes. Like you can take them to high level tournaments, but give some variety in that manner. We haven't seen that at all.
And real quick, well, when it comes to like, you mentioned the YGG. Not sure how many of those players have come in, but the one thing I have seen is that the social kind of network there, it's been interesting because it populates. I just like a couple of them, and it's super populated my Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
So I know some of that is strategic and some of that is network effects. But yeah, I think it's a decent idea. Now for the free to play that's coming up, do we know the stipulations behind those?
The rule set? Yeah, we'll jump into it right after this. I'll show you.
Okay.
I can
Cool.
pull it up on a second tab.
And real quick, while you get to pull that up, big shout out to those who were in the AMA today. I wasn't able to catch it, but I watched it after. And then big shout out to the chat right now. We got Worm, DFK Elite, Toon Fed in the building, J Dub, Ren Pen, Emerson, Aloha, and Two Noob in there, making sure to hook us up with our link there. But yeah, man, let's get into it.
Okay. No, you got it pulled up. Perfect. Yeah, go for it, man.
Shout out to Dags as well, coming into the building.
Yes, sir. Sir Dags.
This is the Gold Rush. I'm trying to find it. I saw it earlier today.
Yeah, no, it's there. It's under Open Practice. Open Practice 27.
Oh, sorry. There we go. Common to uncommon.
Yep.
Team stat scores implemented 1 to 410. This is very selective, actually. And
Right.
allowed hero level is actually 8 to 10.
So they're doing it, but they should do something like this for
Almost every
the
day.
daily skirmish. Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they should do free to play almost every day. Agree.
The thing is, I mean, yeah, I kind of agree, actually. I don't have any counterpoint to that. Because the free-to-play is going to be fun. What I do think, though, what we can say, I think, for almost a fact, is they don't have a system yet. Maybe they do. I don't know. I might be speaking out my ass. But, like, rewards-wise, maybe they don't have that set up. Maybe because they kind of shipped this pretty fast. The idea that they said, all right, we're like, all right, we'll do free-to-play tournaments because people were kind of pushing for it. Good looks for the 4,269 gold. Ren Pen, much love. But yeah, like free to play tournaments, they pushed these out, so maybe this was the only way they could do it this weekend, and they wanted to see how it played.
Right.
But maybe they can, code up the good stuff in the background, get the whole whole shebang going, and yeah, I need you guys to take over momentarily because I forgot this tournament was gonna go on 4 to 16. Do either of you guys have 77 jewel or 80 jewel or whatever, so I don't have to bridge it?
I got you. 1 second.
On what's it called? It's 77.5. Yeah, good luck.
Yeah,
so
I can certainly hop in. So we're currently talking about the tournaments, what's happening in the DeFi Kingdoms ecosystem, right? Shout out to all the players that have been coming in and straight kicking ass. We knew that when it comes to games and this blockchain ecosystem, you're gonna have 5%, 10%. When we were saying 10%, this looks like it might be 3% that comes in and just starts straight kicking ass. And then you have those who then come in and look to adjust build their legion to battle those contenders. So if we have 2 or 3 like dominators right now, there's probably 10 to 15 that are like, okay, I see what you're doing. I'm gonna go make some adjustments. I'm gonna come right back at you. That all could be in the standings, for the 1, 2, 3 spot. So I think even with what we have right now, that conversation, that Stephen A. Smith, that Shannon Sharp conversation, that first take conversation about who's gonna be this first year's tournament's GOAT, who's gonna win that NBA championship. And right now it looks like Juss is one of the favorites for it. Like if you knew nothing and you were in YGG and you came in and you were like, okay, I'm gonna do my daily skirmishes. I'm gonna try to get in and I have some free to play, but who's the top dog? Those are the conversations that we're gonna get ready to have going into half the season, 3/4 of the season, and going into that championship. So I love that in this Web3 ecosystem, blockchain gaming, as we've grown over 3 years, they've taken suggestions. And then there are some things where second best data is just like, no, this is a hard line. No, I've done the math. I know what's going on. We're probably not going to move this way. Again, this experiment has been dope seeing. But yeah, so with that being said, right, we're having a lot of fun. This is gaming. Some are winning, some are losing. We're talking about adjustments. We then have what's happening with Jewel. What's happening with the number one token of this ecosystem? Because again, it's been, I'd say out of the 3 years, right? 8 months of those 3 years is incredible. 3+ years now. 80% of the time has been downwards price action for Jewel. And so the conversation we're looking to have before we then jump into the rest of the AMA and PvP and what's to come with these tournaments is what's the health of the ecosystem. And I think right now the health of the ecosystem has heavily been in equipment, and you could back me up here, rare items, right? And where else has the value been? Gen Zeros aren't really holding their value anymore. Where's the real value been in the ecosystem so far?
Right, and definitely I'd say high-end equipment, and then high-end heroes, I would say still go for a premium whenever people are buying. There's still, big spenders that are willing to pay for those high-end PvP heroes. So it's encouraging to hear that we still do have, whales, because you need that, and the, your ecosystem, your DeFi ecosystem. But we also need more, shrimp and, small players. And I'm excited to get in these charts real quick, Trey. But the last real, thought that I had, kind of tying this back to our previous conversation about just trying to get new players in. And I think that there's, like we were saying, I think that they have the tools in place, and that maybe they're already planning on doing these things to, try to incentivize people to do more of the tournaments. And maybe make the tournaments a little bit easier to win and a little bit easier to get weekend warriors, because they hyped up how much you could trade these weekend warriors, and those might be valuable. But anyways.
Well, we haven't seen that yet. I mean, let's give at least this weekend, because this is the first iteration of Weekend Warrior coming up.
Are they gonna be able to fill it though?
Theoretically, yes. I didn't get to do the full numbers because of what was going on.
But enough people. Okay.
But there is a good. I think Hubert did the math, and there's actually 28 as of last night. So a few tournaments to go. That means a few more people could theoretically, unique players, that is, theoretically get Weekend Warrior tokens. I'm pretty sure he said 28 unique players.
Okay.
So theoretically then, because I don't know the exact number of tournaments, but we have probably 80 of these Weekend Warrior tokens out and about in existence, in supply already. So not bad.
Yeah. So just to wrap that up, we have two bets saying. Yeah.
Sorry.
What's up?
I just wanted to say, I think that because we're going to get into the charts here, and I want you to just have all of the airwaves, but I had to get a last thought, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, for sure. No, I had the last thought still on that.
No, perfect. I'll shut up after this. But really tying it back to the PvP and trying to get new players in, the other piece that might bring new players in, other than incentives to play more tournaments, is also if Jewel starts booming, which right now we're going to get into it is not the case. So, maybe we see a turnaround, maybe we don't. I'll shut up now and let you get into, your thoughts and the charts. But it would be nice to see a little bit of a boom there. Please, I pray.
And that's exactly it, right? Because we're in a particular ecosystem where that was different from those traditional AAA gaming or indie games that blow up is just the fun factor, right? The fun factor will bring people in. But now you're in blockchain where the price go up factors definitely going to bring people in. And when you talk about this ecosystem, in the early stages, that's probably going to have to be what brings people in, as great as you say your game is, right? So to wrap up that conversation, I have Toonfit that said, even given cool, unique, soul-bound Vizzies to free roll tourney winners would be dope. Doesn't have to be monetary reward necessary, and that's valid as well.
Very cool, because people could show them off.
Yeah, it can show them off for sure. And G13 said the allowed levels should be a target average like the one used in hunts. For example, the 14 to 15 to 18 balance. Don't know how you guys feel about that, but I love being able to flex my heroes.
I love that because we have felt that in hunts in a boss fight. And like the idea of them putting a tier, everyone talks about this, 16 to 20. Nobody's bringing 16s. I mean, shout out to Saint Andres earlier in this tournament.
First tournament.
What was that? The first tournament, yeah, it was a 15 floor or 15 ceiling, and he brought 11s and 12s and competed well. That's the only time we've seen it. I don't know if he's done it since. I know he's been in a few tournaments. I don't know if he's tried it, but I've heard no success of it since. Maybe I just haven't watched every single game, which is true. Yeah. I haven't rewatched every single one, but go on.
Yeah, for sure. So it's definitely going to be a topic of conversation as we move along. And again, it's not like we're waiting 6 months to then make changes. They're making changes on the fly. So again, big shout out to Web3 and when we have a blockchain gaming. So Jewel, right? Okay. We want more players. That's what's going to drive action. Okay, well, Jewel running will do that. And what does that look like right now? And overall in the market, we've seen Bitcoin just correcting in general as we're waiting for, we're hearing developments with what's happening with crypto in the US and reserve and things of that nature. So just painting a picture of just the emotional and psychological battles / torment happening over the last few weeks. I feel you. Protect your mental health. That's the first message before we get into any of these charts is protect your mental health, okay? Because these ups, these downs, I really feel for people if you don't have charts, you don't have something, some fundamental knowledge, some technology knowledge to help you through this process. And so it's just been a zigzag as we're testing this all-time high region. And we've just seen Jewel trend down since. And so what's the outlook from the jewelers end of things and how at least with the chart analysis we're looking at things as quite honestly, let me shift this over to here. We're looking at Bitcoin making another pump. And the thing about DeFi Kingdoms and Jewel, I do not believe that Jewel has enough gas to hold its own. Okay, so if you're a blockchain token and you have enough gas to hold your own, in bull markets, you will outpace the market at some point if you have enough strength, network activity, and things of that nature, like even XRP is doing, like Cardano did last cycle, like Ethereum did the cycle before. And so you need a Bitcoin, you need a AVAX, you need a Metis, you even need a Kia. I think Kia is the way you say it when it comes to the formerly known as Clayton. And so you need upside. Now, if you think you're going into a downside bear market, then Jewel is just never going to move. And you're going to be in this ecosystem just playing a game and looking for development to bring more users in. But if you're someone like me who believes that the price action of Jewel is going to bring more people in, then you're looking at Bitcoin AVAX. And so we've been tracking this with Bitcoin. We're not going to jump too long on just too much technical analysis on this, but we're expecting a last push. And if we're expecting a last push in Bitcoin, we're expecting a last push in AVAX. And then that means that we're expecting a last push in Jewel. And so the question asks, what can bring more users in? If Jewel does what it does and moves how it normally moves, it has really aggressive short movements, right? And then really long downwards movement. This is how Bitcoin was in its early days. Again, we are early. We are in the early days. And so if you're in here playing for tournaments and you're looking for tournaments to make you money like the top players are, that might not be where you sit. If you're looking at tokens, then I do believe there's a 20 to 30x opportunity in Jewel right now. And from that 5 cent region, there's a 22, 23x to $1.26, which I think is just the safest type of run that Jewel can have when it takes on the liquidity that comes from Bitcoin, AVAX, and the sister or brother chains. That's the bare minimum. And if that's the bare minimum for 5 cents, with the final upside that we have, then Jewel is a undervalued token at the moment, right? But it needs help from other entities. Now, if Jewel is able to combine the fundamentals, the fundanomics, the adjustments that the team is making, the lead up of this next 6 months into the final 10K, if everything works well together and enough liquidity comes into the space outside of the Bitcoin, the AVAX, and Jewel finds some strength, that's where you get that 558, where there's an overextension of what Jewel normally does. And so I do believe that after this last upside, we're going into a really terrible bear market where we can see Bitcoin back at 13, 14K. And so I think March is going to be a great month. Again, these are all guesstimations, and we're watching to see what happens. But I think March is a great month that, lo and behold, we could be at 126. As I'm watching Bitcoin, we could see Bitcoin reach those 120, 140s literally by end of March and April, looking for that pump into the first 2 quarters of the market, and then sell in May, go away. When folks say sell in May, go away, they don't mean that it's bearish in May. It means that the summer sucks. Okay, so you get that summer lull, which I think Bitcoin has a pretty, and the stock market has a pretty nasty correction. And then we go into the last gas where the altcoins run while Bitcoin stalls out. And that's a very dangerous area of about 30 to 40 days where you have altcoin season. And I think that's where Jewel can possibly wrap it up. But in that wrap-up process of gearing towards that 558, it's a dangerous zone where 70 to 60% correction can happen. So as we talk about gameplay, as we watch what happens when it comes to the game, if you have assets in the ecosystem and you're playing long-term like I am, I'm playing 10, 15, 20 years with this game, I'm going to be here, but I do plan on taking profit. Okay, and if these kinds of prices are able to happen, that means your Excalibur, that means your swords, that means your bows are also going to run in extraordinary value, like we've seen them do. We've seen the bow go from more like $15 to then $150, depending on what Jewel was doing. So when you look at the value, yes, I know everybody's looking at gameplay value to determine bringing new users in, but token appreciation value will do all the different jobs that you're looking to have done. And I believe that with Jewel, it happens aggressively. And I think that slows down as more maturity comes and there's more stability as more maturity comes. But it's not a far cry to say, oh, crap, Jewel's probably going to do that 10x, that 20x it normally does when the market conditions are right. So this is our guesstimation. And I hope, this leads us into what the agenda is when you're playing in these tournaments, still hunting, still landing your bulls, still farming, and still doing DeFi, knowing that the appreciation of the token can raise the value of your assets. And that's the wrap up. I can get in a lot deeper, but that's
but one thing I got to ask you, Trade, is we're talking, and I'm going to take your screen down for a half a second.
Sure.
we're talking PvP tournaments. We're gonna move back to Sundered Isles, and there is yet another gold rush coming up this weekend. I think tomorrow, actually.
Yeah.
So
let me pull up gold. Then.
Let's go back. I'm gonna bring your screen back up. Trade's pulling up gold. Let's talk gold, baby.
Let's pull up gold, right? So, full disclosure, I think it was Zion. He threw in the Jewelers Discord that, you know, when the first Medium article came out, he was like, "Oh, cool! I'm just gonna swap 2,000 Jewel for gold." And then I looked at that, and he drove up the price. This is the first, and this is the 3-day chart that we're looking at here. So that means every candle is 3 days. So this is Zion, and this is just 2,000 Jewel that was converted into gold. I said, okay, this is cool. I'm a patient person, so I said, let me wait for a correction. I waited, and I converted then 2,000 Jewel into gold right here. And then we had the gold rush. Okay, we had the gold rush tournament, and on this 3-day chart from this correction that was happening, as obviously no more buyers in the market was happening, from the low of just 2 individuals putting 2 Jewel into gold ran up as high as a 42% move, and then has cooled down to half of that, which is normal. The more important thing to kind of pay attention to is that some of these macro indicators for gold, all right, the MACD, the stochastic RSI, which is a sign of momentum, the RSI itself, which is a sign of momentum, they are starting to change tune. Okay, look at this MACD just change in tune here from the red to the light red to then looking to then enter a different change of what? Momentum. Look at this giant divergence, and divergence is price action going down, but RSI, which is a show of the strength of the buying activity in the market, going up. This is massive divergence on the weekly chart. And so when you look at gold and you look at the gold rush possibly happening every week, now that the team has gotten a chance to see that the gold rush is actually the fastest filling tournament in the current DeFi Kingdoms ecosystem, that leads me to a Fibonacci retracement for gold up into this red region to test the local highs. And from the current moment, that's about a 354% run. Okay, now if you are a gold accumulator, you want to be accumulating gold because when you sell, you drive down the price. And so if you're going to play the gold move, you don't want to be buying once it tests its all-time high. You want to be buying here because of what it's going to cost as you're selling down. But if you're looking at what the possible upside for gold is, and this is what the full Fibonacci retracement brings us to, it's about a 5,474% possible upside for gold. And that's, again, based on the Fibonacci retracements and a powerful move within the, like, let's say the next 3 to 6 months. And so I'm perfectly fine as somebody stacking up gold right now. I'd say the mathematical equation at the least is to have 20 million gold. But if you can have 100 million gold and then sell it at 10 million gold increments as it's moving its way up this possible 5,000%, you mitigate the cost of selling and the price, the volatility you have, and there's a profit there. And it might not be 5,400%; it might be 2,000% based upon what it costs and how the algorithm and the kind of like the bots run for the sales, whether it's in the bazaar. You can also look at possibly selling your gold for Jewel, which then it's more math. But this is the possible upside. I don't want to spend too much time on this. This is the possible upside on gold. If for the next 6 months, we're going to have the gold rush and we're seeing this fluctuation in there. And if we're expecting Bitcoin to run, gold is already going to possibly test these 2 highs here. just off of Bitcoin running, just off of AVAX running, just off of Jewel running. And then you have the order of liquidity flow possibly into this ecosystem. As we've seen, what? The long-term momentum indicators show a sign of change. And so that's the overall thesis for gold there. As somebody who accumulates Jewel, gold is probably like 5% of that allocation. But it's enough where, hey, my goal is 100 million gold and to sell an increase of 10 million gold, simply put.
It's a bold play, and I love that we had this talk because I needed to hear it from you, Trade. Ever since these gold tournaments and that initial spike, I couldn't wait for this Thursday, bro. Just to hear that. And TuneFed makes a great point. This upcoming one, and I didn't even show the rules. We'll go over it in a second. This upcoming one is 32 players, Trade. That's double the audience, which filled in 3 minutes, mind you, last time for the Gold Rush tournament.
When is it dated for? When is it dated for? Can we just say? Can you tell me when that one is dated?
Yes. We'll let me pull it right back up because I exited. I walked away. We'll show it. I'm gonna take your screen down in 1 second for a quick minute while we showcase the Gold Rush. I think it's 41. Yes, sir. Let's show my screen. So here is the tournament. 5 rounds. It'll be 25 minutes. So it'll be about 25 minutes, maybe 30, 40 minutes more longer of a tournament because you have that wait period in between. Maybe just flat 25, actually, because I think that 25 builds up to the next. So it'll be a slightly longer tournament. 5 rounds, 32 combatants, 16 to 20. So theoretically, level 20 floor, no other restrictions. Anything goes, baby. So this is top dogs.
Is gonna show up.
This is top dogs, but look at these prizes, Trade. $200 USDC for first, 2 submersion chests, 2 gilded chests, bro. You know that stuff's going to be massive. And the champion qualifier token. So that's not weekend warriors, bros. That's champion qualifier. That's
so
again,
I think the last round I noticed Friday night. We saw a little pump and go, and then Saturday, about 8 hours left, there was that additional pump as well. So it's simple math, man. And so this weekend, if we're looking at 32 players, double the amount of players from the previous one, then we could be looking at, again, that local high, right? We spoke about a local high. The last time Jewel did something incredible, that local high is 338% away. So then that's just the experiment. Let's watch gold. Let's see this weekend. Let's see if it tests the previous all-time high, or let's see over the next 6 months if it tests the previous all-time high, and that plays into the theory of that journey to a 5,700 possible percent run from gold.
Facts, bro, and I can't wait to see. It's gonna be a lot of fun. T-Heat, any thoughts on your end here before I skip over you?
No, man. I mean, I am excited about what the Gold Rush tournaments have done and the excitement behind them. So I guess some thoughts, but no, I always love Trade giving a great breakdown of the charts, and we'll see what happens with the sentiment overall. With DeFi Kingdoms. I like Trade. I'm in for the long haul regardless. I'm here to stay. So I'm hoping things go well for us. But, it's I would say definitely, Jewel is still at an all-time low and it's not looking amazing. So it's all obviously some concern. But
Jewel's going to get a little pity patty tap from Bitcoin. Like, hey, this is your chance to run. AVAX is going to give Jewel a little pity patty tap. And it's going to run to wherever it runs. It does not have enough strength to hold its own, but unless we're going to a bear market, if there's a last upside, then I believe we get that last aggressive whatever that run is, and depending on what your DCA average is, if your DCA average is closer to 32 cents, and you never DCA'd back into Jewel, then your upside is not as well. But if your average is closer to 10 to 5 cents, then oh geez, when that impulsive move happens, you have a high rate of possible return, or Jewel goes to 0.
No in between.
Yeah.
No, but
No,
it's going to be a lot of fun, developments within the ecosystem. We'll see how much more tournaments, get implemented. We'll see if truly free-to-play, could be the way. Even with minimal XP, could be fun. But I think it still needs a reward into maybe one of those other tournaments. Maybe the team thinks that as well. I don't know. I don't know the logistics of it. I don't know the numbers behind the scenes on how many tokens are available, what's too much. But I think either way, no XP, small XP, free-to-play could be very fun. And we saw a lot of people interested in it. So I'm excited about that. Looks like we have a tourney going on right now, not right now yet. 20 minutes is going to close. We're not going to cast this, unfortunately. It's just Thursday night. I do not have 2 hours in me. am signed up, though, for this one, so we're going to have fun. We need 2 more competitors. So, hey, if you're looking out there watching the stream, 1 win, and you're in the second round.
You got called out, man. I think somebody called you out.
Who called me out? In chat?
Dude, that's why I'm not. You haven't heard me talking, and I like to talk. It's because I'm putting my team together right now to get in here, bro. I actually am. So I wasn't going to say it. I was just going to sneak in.
He's just going to sneak in.
What's the bracket for that one?
No, bro. I'm literally. Oh my god. I'm probably an hour away from having a mythic dark summon berserker that's beautiful that I could put in there, but it's still 14. So I guess I could take it, but I'm not going to. I'm going to do something different, but
So Trade asked what the stipulations are on this one. Closes in 20 minutes, so sign up ASAP if you're looking to potentially get a free round buy, a free first round buy as well. It's going to be level 15s to 11, but level 15s most likely, unless T brings his 14 in. Dark summons only. Which, by the way, on that topic, I don't think bringing a 14 is too bad, honestly. You could have a well-statted up level 14 and, kind of just be right there with
nice, to be honest, but yeah.
Yeah, so DFK Elite calls out T on the main stage here. He says, get your ass in there.
I'm working on it.
Get in the tournament. We have Dashi Yokai, Dread Syndicate, which is B easy from the Mythic Squad. I always forget who Dashi Yokai is. Level up. Unsure who this is either. This might be a new competitor, first timer potentially, or alt account. We don't know. G Rhythm, myself, 91 Karmas. We're gonna get T Heat in there. I don't know if Elite is in here unless that's level up and I just didn't know it, or it could be Dashi Yokai. I don't know. Let's see if DFK Elite gets in there or if he comes out as one of these alt accounts potentially. So, Trade, are you jumping into this bad boy?
Oh no, not at all. I'm not jumping this at all.
Okay.
I'm trying to go get something to grub on. After this. I got work in the morning.
Trish tapped, bro. He's good.
Yeah. But I love tapping into the Discord anytime a jeweler is in one of these, and then usually in the morning I'll wake up and be like, I almost had him. And I think recently there were some jewelers that were in the top 3 and 4 spot, right? We're making our way in.
Hey, we're behind. I don't have the guild tally yet. I'll get it going here probably by next show. But let's just give a quick shout out to, honestly, the legends lately within this tournament series in the PvP ecosystem. Much shout out to the jewelers. Zion has been eaten up. I will give love where it's due for the jewelers. Otherwise, we've been staying low. Not everyone's been coming in yet. We're gonna come in with firepower when we're ready. I've been getting shit on, but that's besides the point. Fex, Juss from ADFK, and Franz and Raph, I think, have one each, have been dominating for the Adventures in DeFi Kingdoms. That guild on fire, as well as Eternal Zenith. I mean, who would have thunk it? These two. Probably could have put your futures bet with Beeves betting services and probably made a good few bucks on that first round, the first week of rounds there. But yeah, bro, jewelers are coming back. We're formulating plans. The great thing, Trade talked about it off the scene, behind the scenes rather. You can watch these players and learn tactics. You can learn what they're doing and maybe develop something. Maybe you're missing something. Maybe your skill isn't just there. And you can just figure it out, even hero-wise. Everything's on the chain. I mean, even pregame, you could see every single hero signed up here and take a look. So, strategies are to be made and changed as well. So, a lot of adaptation. You got to adjust and, just adapt and overcome. So, Anything else on this? T-Heat, are you still, lurking? I don't see 7 out of 16 yet.
Hey, I need you to check Discord.
Oh, I got you.
I'm gonna go team lined up, bro. Hey, I got some good news, man. I got an item back that was on loan that is gonna be a good one for me. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm saying.
About damn time.
Right. So things are lining up here. I'm gonna try to cook.
So we got 15 minutes before sign up ends on this. Again, if you don't get over 8, the tournament does not go forward. Some people, I've been seeing some general chatters saying like, hey, if I see this person, if I see that person, I'm not entering, which kind of sucks. Like I love the competition, bro. I said I'm not having the best of luck. I have had one top 4 finish. And I have some items, bros. I have again, it's not all level 20s. I got some nice heroes. I was gonna say boys, but boys and girls, heroes wise.
Right.
The squad's packed. But bro, people are solid, and this is in any competitive field. The elite, the truly elite, get found. They're able to be seen because their play is that quality. So. Play, is truly one of the big factors. Traits and heroes and stats go into it, but man, I have some equipment and I cannot just instant walk in these fights and just win. It's craziness. But big shout out, big respect to those competing at the highest level currently.
Big facts.
Big facts. Trade. Is Trade still here? Did I lose Trade?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Oh, there we go. I couldn't see the screen. Is there any tournaments in specific you because I know you're big on the spectating factor. I know you like to watch and kind of earn in that sense as well. Free jewel is free jewel for heroes you have staked. A big factor in this system. But is there any formats that intrigue you, even thinking of these free-to-plays that are to come? Is there anything that would really give you, that enticing factor to just jump in here a little more often?
I mean, look, again, like I said, I'm a watcher, right? So the level 20s, if I am in Serenade Owls, I'll watch the level 20 battles just to see the best of the best. Now, when it comes to partaking, I've thought about the level 10, I've thought about the lower levels, but really, if I have any spare time, I more so go try to patrol. Try to see if I can land any of those extra items. Because again, I'm not thinking about this round of tournaments. It took me 3 years just to even understand why gamers game. Okay.
Right.
And the basic levels of that. And so I play the long game, right? So, I'm watching tremendously these different levels, and then I'm thinking about summoning the proper traits now that I've seen some of the gameplay, and then playing to the unlock of level 20 and then trying to then compete at level 40, right? Like that's my game plan. Get some double resurrection and try to be able to compete for whatever tournament's available between 20 and 40 down the line. I cannot compete right now, and that just also goes more to what the is saying about just having a baseline of where I can use my basic heroes to farm, because after going in and getting my ass kicked, I'm probably gonna mitigate my tournaments to not a lot, because I still need to come into this ecosystem, at least me, coming from my mindset, and still be profitable in a sense with the other DeFi mechanisms that I have set up in the game.
Facts, bro. And you kind of made me think of a topic here in regards to patrols, something that's very fun. I was doing one earlier in this episode, and the loot, not only from patrols, but patrols is the easiest, kind of most simple, grindy hunt or combat iteration in DeFi Kingdoms currently. You can do the boss fight boars, you can do the boss fight chickens, and get even better loot. But
which is primary.
But look at the variety of heroes you can bring to patrols. Any of them, 1 to 20, might be lesser rewards for your 20s. It might not feel worthy if you think if you're min-maxing these heroes. But, you know, go to these level 3 patrols and just think about it for a second. I don't even know if any of are going to be on the market, but level 7 and 9 recommended. You could play above. I've beat this with 16s, you know, 20s just for fun. But a few of these items, these mythic items that drop from there, aren't even in the shop. Wait, no, that's my equipment. No, one of them is. At how much, Jewel? $300. $300 for this Octo Hood, or excuse me, Cal of Eternal Hunger. I was looking at the Octo Hood. Pretty crazy effect for PvP. People want to make money off PvP. And gain ability to devour. And then it's in an accessory spot that, you know, there's not much variety right now. This is one of the top tier accessories in the game. And it's being sold for $300, and there's only 2 in existence, I think, currently. Wow. Maybe a few more, but patrols, baby.
Even if you come in and you say, hey, I got some decent heroes, I'm going to farm patrols, because I think even Second Best Dad mentioned it. You know, some things have check marks, like rare items being high values. That's a check mark. You cannot move on with a gaming ecosystem without checking those marks. So the equation for that has been figured out. You know, now the other stuff is going to come down the line, but if you don't have rare items, high price check mark, you can't move on. So like, that's pretty dope to see. I hadn't really checked the value of them, but they're sitting at 6,000 jewel. My goodness. You know, if you have a jewel accumulation goal, just go farm patrols.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely could come out with some crazy stuff. Let's just go down the line here. These are a little cheaper, but 55 jewel, $3 for a bandana. Not too bad. Obviously, it has to be liquid. You know, how much is this selling? I'm not quite sure. I don't have the data. But $5 for the Octo Hood. For PvPers out there, for combaters, or for anyone just interested. Increased block chance by 1.5% chance. Spell block increase chance by 3%. And increased blind resistance by 10%. So a good set of buffs for an accessory. It's not a mythic, but it's rare, and it's relatively cheap. So people can level up their teams if we see free-to-play tournaments that can give us Revenger tokens, bro. Hey, the market for these items, I think, changes. You see what T mentioned earlier. YGG get in here a little more often. Shit could blow up. T, what's your thoughts?
Bro, I hope so. My thoughts are I'm bridging a feather duster because I need that, and then I'm going to be in the tournament finally.
Oh, we need one more then. Once T's in, let's see. Are we at 7 yet? T could be the final.
I could be it.
No, we're still at 6.
Somebody else out there, get in there. I promise I am coming, and we need this to go.
Stick's going to join, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.
It should be a community effort. You know, I'm putting it upon myself as much as I can play. I've played a good variety of these damn things to only come out with one top 4 finish. But it's fun, bro. I want to compete. I enjoy the battle. I enjoy the system, and I want to use my heroes. I've waited 2-3 years for this shit.
You know what's sick, right? Like, I think at the numbers we have, people are gonna fill in those top tier, different, like, you know, like battles. But like, again, just being able to spectate and then being able to like hedge your bets, like, you know, knowing that all the top heads are gonna want to come in. I'm gonna have my gold. And that's my PvP. I'm playing against all of y'all who are entering with your gold, trying to run up gold for profit. Like, it's just a round table on this ecosystem can get so crazy. And that's why there's DeFi, profitability, bull or bear market. And that's another thing that'll bring people in, because in bear markets, we're still going to be a really functioning ecosystem with profitability for players who can play. You know, and I think that's what separates this game from others as well.
Indeed, bro. Indeed. We are going to close things out here in the near future. So I'm going to go around the room with final thoughts. T-Heat. Let's hear it, brother. I know you're trying to finish up getting this tournament, but
I'm in.
Let's go.
I just submitted it.
Hey, before you give your final thoughts, StycksIntern, if you're out there, bro. Sticks or StycksIntern. I don't know who Elite's talking about, but get in there, bro. We need it. We got 5 minutes. I want to play some PvP tonight. Let's go. 7 out of 16 T. What's your final thoughts?
Bro, I mean, I still am. I know I might have been critical at times to start, but I still am very bullish, and I still am very excited about what the team has built. And I really do think it's a very exciting, glorious game. There's a lot of avenues to enjoy it, as we've talked about tonight. But there's also a lot of ways that they can make it more welcoming for newbies. And the good news is they have those tools already built. They just got to make some, different implementation changes, and we'll see what they cook up. They're always receptive to community feedback, which is nice. So we love that. We love Web3 gaming. I mean, I speak for myself only, but I'm definitely still bullish, even if right now, as we talked about, as Trade said, we might be a little bearish outlook on some market things. So, but yeah, great day. Love, always getting to chat with you two gents. And I'm looking forward to this tournament that closes in 5 minutes. Let's get one more in here.
Let's go. Trade room, the legend. Final
you guys
thoughts,
enjoy that tournament. Like I said, it's been 3+ years waiting for this. It's fun. It's enjoyable. It gives you so much juice to prepare for that long-term play with DeFi Kingdoms. But I'm bullish on March and early April. We're gonna see it out. We're gonna track it in the charts. We're gonna try to run up Jewel, and we're gonna try to make this game enjoyable in all aspects as we continue to build. So really bullish on what's to come over the next few weeks and this tournament.
Hey, let's go. And we see Worm. We see TuneFed. It could have been Worm to make it 8, but Worm does give the announcement in chat. Send the hearts. Let's go. 8 out of 16. So we will have some PvP tonight, baby. Spectate, vote. We are going to close this thing out. We're going to have some fun and enjoy this Thursday night tournament. So best of luck to all the competitors. Currently, we might get some final goers. We'll have Dashi Yokai, Be Easy, DFK Elite is level up for those out there wondering. G Rhythm, myself, Karmas, T Heat, Zion, and Eric. Let's go. This is going to be fun. 9 out of 16 now, so we had one more entry. Looks like, I might have already named them all. So this is going to be a ton of fun. This is the Jewelers Gaming Guild. My name's Mega, for T Heat, for Trade. We'll see you next week, folks. Maybe this weekend. Forgot to tell you, we might stream some PvP. Who knows? I'll see you, boys.
Peace.